Laeros. Leave it to me.
A mirror's winds blow sweet upon you.
I'll see it done. Keep it down.
What for do you skulk around in the dark? Do you not sleep?
Keeping an eye out. Leave it to me.
I do not know you. You were looking for Kawa? Rinko? The Valian? You jest, Akira. I should have thrown him into the sea. He dares to call me a thief? What else? The Valians are fools. But Akawa wishes to trade, so we must be patient. We must save them from Nagate's storms, even when they ignore our advice. Ikawa told me I should see the tavern, speak with their people, learn patience. The trader Eophania, she taught me to play Valian cards. A simple game, but none would play with me in the tavern. Not until Rinko. I thought him kind until I proved the victor, and he grew angry. Until he stood in front of his kin and called me a Mataru of Sadahuzi, a filthy islander and a cheat. For that, yes, I beat him. Why does this concern you? Blunt your teeth on this if you like. If he was a man of sense, he would not be on his back.
Most days I'd fire up the kettle for you or something. Sorry. A surprise! The brute speaks! And you have survived the conversation in one piece. Merla. Perhaps my tongue was loosened by drink. What of it? Is any man who insults the savage's pride due a beating? The law is on my side! It is not enough that she has ruined me. Now you threaten me in my home. Please, for the sake of my son, I will tell the guards the truth. I swear it. I must hope that Clario's dogs will be more merciful than you.
Gods, I beg you, grant me a posting on the far side of the world.
Why? Bearath smiles.
I don't know how you and the Watchers sleep, carrying all those souls around.
Some nights it's the lantern that lulls me to sleep. It pulses like a
I
heart in my
tire of this,
hand.
outsider.
If you find that comforting, then I'm glad for you.
I have had it shown to me on a map, the lands at the edge of the world. I did not ever think to meet a man from such a place. They told me what became of your ship. I say again that you are lucky. It is the only ship that survives. I could protect Port Mage, or else its ships, but not both. Perhaps Clario thinks I chose poorly. Yes, one of the old titans, say the priests. Andra is angry. The why, our priests do not know. I am only glad it has journeyed elsewhere. Aethys. Is it redemption you seek, then? You risk much to chase a god across the sea. The Dawn Stars, too, wish to meet this god. What if he does not wish to be found? Better than it may seem. Clario can be reasoned with, especially if one approaches him with coin in their pocket. He is not a cruel man. I suspect he might even enjoy life on the island if he were free of his masters. Akira, do not all people trade for the same reason? The Valians have brought us guns, medicine, wine, and food. Some of them we have even convinced to help with the canoes. My people have come to enjoy these things. The medicine has helped many of the children recover from fever. We gain from this peace. So long as Clario keeps his company masters away, we lose little. To a storm speaker, the storm is a friend, gentled by a word. And Satahuzi is blessed with several storm speakers. We were able to shield the village from much of the weather. Some of it is mere luck. Most of our canoes were here by the shore. We did lose one of our voyagers. It will take some work to replace it. Yes, one of the old titans, Ngati, Andra's realm, harbors many great beasts. They say the ancestors of the Kahanga tribe, and so their queen, hold pacts with such creatures. My priests wonder if this is her doing. Yes, one of the old titans, say the I do not know. Most fled the sight of it, and Clario has provided little information. This was the subject of our argument. Perhaps he will tell you more. Yes, but it will take Clario's assistance. Convince him, and I will aid you. You are one of his people now. It falls on him to protect you. I see. Governor Clario would call it superstition. I know you speak truth. Are there worse omens than to hear that the god of rebirth has brought death upon your people? I thank you for delivering this news. I will tell their families, and we will mourn them together. But you will journey on, into the god's wake. I wish you luck, outsider. There are enough Mataru here to defend the village. You are safe.
Fancy a look at the wares, my friend? Cozy spot, right? Not much competition apart from the basket lady. And the Hawana have coin to spend and goods to trade, same as the rest. Best goods on the island. Fancy a look at the wares, my friend? Best goods on the island.
I'm sure you're eager to depart. I'm sure you're eager to depart.
Good, you are here. Clario has made good on his promise. We are making ready to free your ship. I say still that you are fortunate. The ship was nearly lost, but it will float. For how long, I cannot say. You will wish to find a friendly port with some speed, I think. So you will go to the great Kahanga city as well. You must sail north for some time, and then a little east. Take care in Nekitaka, outsider. It will close its jaws around you, and you will never notice. Come, we will see your defiant out to sea.
We should address the matter of our ship's resources before we get underway. It saddens me to inform you that we lost several crew and most of our provisions during the storm. However, Port Margé appears to be well supplied, and I expect the recent disaster has left several sailors in want of a ship. I suggest we contract for additional supplies and crew before we return to open water, or our voyage may indeed be a short one.
Ador Watercadno. On behalf of the Principe Sen Patrina, I must request we meet in parley. Eccoci. It has been some time since I last asked another's permission. I have heard some marvelous tales regarding your ventures in the Deerwood. In fact, you are the first dragon slayer I have ever met, outside of a grave. Some fools would seek to make a fortune by pilfering from one such as you.
I take it he is not one of those fools. Perhaps we should listen.
I believe you have met such a fool. Captain Benweth of the Drake. Voxen of Ubildet Merla. Careful, ship hunter. Mind that you do not confuse a useful skill set for a non-expendable one. My apologies. Rest assured, it will not happen again.
Apologies, Captain. Didn't mean it, really. We're up all night, you know, searching out our friend here. You've been at sea a while. Your mind starts playing tricks on you, aye? Well, mine plays tricks on others, too. Usually don't mean much. Maybe see a bit of shadow, hear a bit of tune. Not unless the person's sensitive. Like, say, a watcher.
Gelarde. Then that should make this easy. I am keen to show my rascal of a compatriot some much-needed humility. I thought perhaps you may care to as well.
For on tease, for do my job for me, friend. Hope you don't die in the effort.
Benweth is no captain of mine, amico. It is not beneath my flag his Drake sails. Yet I do seek to temper his actions when they would endanger the Principe altogether. As an ally to the Knights of the Crucible, I believe Benweth sought to take you down a notch. Word of Benweth's raid on the Defiant will spread throughout the Deadfire. More fools will seek to prey upon you. I would suggest you stave off all others by making an example of Benweth. Gelarde, but I am, through you. It is you Benweth has insulted, amico. You he has invited aggression against. Burn and sink him. It will cause the Principe to revere you. Of course, amico. Work with me, and I will weight your pockets with gold. When you have dealt with my problem, I will prepare a fine welcome for you at my port. Now, a tip for you. Benweth's Drake took damage during the storm. Eventually, he will need to dock for repairs, and when he does, Seraphin can find him for you. He is rather an unrefined creature, but he is a most skilled ship hunter, I assure you.
Unrefined? Begging your pardon, Captain, but I'd be the high fucking model of the Gentleman of Fortune. As for Benweth, that sucker of squid tits be as predictable as the tide. I'd wager all my furriest bits that he'd set sail for Deadlight.
That would be felicitous indeed, as I believe the traitor Remaro hides there as well. I quite enjoy killing two men with a single bullet.
Wouldn't have even thought of it if you hadn't brought it up, sir. Now, I ain't hardly in any hurry to leave the fine company of the gentlemen of leisure, but the captain be right about me finding your mark. Adding to that, you sail into Fort Deadlight not knowing your innies from your outies, you might very well find the locals cannon fucking your boat to sodden splinters.
What venture does not require an investment to be prosperous? The cellophane is an allowance, which I expect you will return. In one payment or another.
Oh, you won't be regretting this, Watcher. At least so long as you keep us heavy in grog and light on the onions. Ugh, them dirty shit apples ain't never agreed with me, and I'll be suspecting they never will.
He's not sleeping near my berth, I promise you that much.
I sail now for Dunwich, my own safe port. I will await you there, should you be successful in schooling our wayward captain.
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once. You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Berith, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Berith settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned. I remind you of our bargain. Time is short, and your soul dangles in the balance.
Her wan face contorts into what, on mortal kith, might be called a smile. On her, the effect is more akin to a rotting pumpkin caving in upon itself.
Do not give me cause to doubt your commitment, Watcher.
The figure nearest Berith dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodika strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Berith? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodika's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodika with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodika steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
She casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight from the corners of her eyes.
A moon would do the job nicely.
The figure beside the aspect of Berith flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Magran looks at you as one might a wayward gob of spit on one's shoe.
It is no business of yours what the gods decide.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes, Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide. Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys's return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedeka suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who killed Lord Harren, the man who tormented his dear niece, Alice. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magran grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magran stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
Wodika waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys other than decisive, final action.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin. Alone.
I'll see it done.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind? They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul. Go madder than I already am? I don't rightly know. It's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me. Sure thing, Watcher.
Bella, that's not a... Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others. I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative. I'm working against one of the most secretive organizations in all of Aora. One with a rather troubled history as far as animancy is concerned. That's not the sort of thing one shares with new friends. Believe me, I take no pleasure in duplicity. After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key. It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, trying to undo them. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. That's where it gets complicated. The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos. He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident. I thought so, at first. The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little. Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week. Is it? In the end, the villagers suffered more because of my actions. I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. Perhaps so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything. You know me too well. All the same, I need to gather my thoughts.
Hey, this brings back some memories, huh? I like that feeling, knowing we'd stop Theos. We were part of something big. That was something I never felt before, not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. I looked all around the Deerwood, but that place has too many ghosts for me. Things I'd just as soon forget. Ended up moving to Adir and tracking down my parents. They went there as refugees after the war ended. In part, I guess. Adir, they still got some bad blood with Deerwood. Goes back to the Revolution. Some Adirans like to give Deerwoodans a hard time they get the chance. With my folks, a group came along and tried to take their land. Made a phony claim to it. I sat down with them and we had a friendly negotiation. One fella, I don't think he'll ever be able to look to his right again. But we came to an understanding. My folks, well, they didn't see me the same after that. I think they'd have rather given up the land than have it come to violence. And I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things. If you like, I want the destruction to stop. I want him to finish what he's doing and then go in peace. Only I don't see it playing out that way.
You're far from home, farmer. How did you make it all this way in your little boat?
Why do we gotta be farmers just because we're from Deerwood?
Are you a farmer?
Yeah, but you can't just assume. We got rabble-rousers, too.
I'm the harbor master, Kauha. I must ask your reason for docking in Nekataka. Is that so? Well, Andra told me to protect the harbor, and Wodika herself signed the order. They would have had Gallowayne do it, but he was sick this morning.
Show them. Show them what you are.
We don't have to tolerate these idle threats. If you value your life, get back on your ship and head for open sea.
I will help you.
What's the matter with you? What are you doing? If you're trying to scare us with some cipher mischief, save the purple flames for the tribes of the Outer Islands.
Now.
What? What is this?
Run for it! You got style, Cap. Worm-riddled, ship-sinking, flat fucking freaky style.